When we imagine that somebody is going to filibuster something in the Senate, we imagine cots, right? We imagine this is a dramatic thing. We imagine they'll be staying up all night. They'll be refusing to yield the floor. They'll be reading from anything at hand, phone books, cookbooks, biscuit recipes, like Strom Thurmond did when he filibustered the Civil Rights Act of 1957. They'll do anything to keep talking on the floor, to keep the filibuster going. We imagine this as a dramatic thing, a cinematic thing, something that takes physical sacrifice to bring the gears of the legislature to a halt, to supplant majority rule and substitute instead your own principled intransigence, a thing not to be undertaken lightly or by the weak of bladder. That's what we imagine. That is not what it is like anymore. Since after the 2006 elections, Republicans have filibustered pretty much everything. And they're never up all night, and they're never reading from the phone book, and they're never reading from the cookbook, and there's never awkward bathroom breaks where people are sprinting on and off the floor hoping nobody notices they've left. There's no drama, there's no cinematography anymore in covering a filibuster. They just filibuster everything in a quiet, ho-hum paperwork kind of way that nobody really notices. But that does bring the gears of the legislature to a halt and supplant majority rule. It's just that nobody remarks anymore on why, or who's doing it, or whether their radical stance is warranted. This has led to a lot of liberal frustration in the last couple of years. If Republicans are going to block majority votes, block the Senate from being able to accomplish just about anything, shouldn't it at least be uncomfortable for them to do it? Shouldn't it be a big deal? Shouldn't it require some measure of sacrifice? Shouldn't it have at least a small measure of drama? Why don't Democrats make them filibuster the way we imagine filibusters to be? They don't do it for a good reason, or at least for a real reason. But it is a real reason that might change. You have proposed making what happens in the Senate more like what we imagine when we think of the filibuster. You wrote in this memo, the public believes that filibustering senators have to hold the floor. Indeed, the public perceives the filibuster as an act of principled public courage and sacrifice. Let's make it so. How would you do that, and why do you think it would be important to do that?
Well, first of all, it's very important for the public to know when someone's objecting. If they say, no, a majority vote isn't good enough, and I'm objecting and therefore triggering, and a single senator can do it, a supermajority, they should have to put themselves on record so the public can respond to that and say, yes, we support you, we think you're a hero, or why are you blocking unemployment insurance? You're making life miserable for millions of working Americans who can't find a job in this great Bush recession. And so they have to be accountable before the public. And the way to make that happen is to require a filibuster petition, that is, for the filibustering senators to declare, we object to the regular order of a majority and we insist on continued debate, and then for them to stay on the floor and to continue speaking on the floor. And if at any moment no one's willing to speak, that ends it, and we go to the vote. If at any moment the required number do not stay on the floor, that ends it, and we go to a vote.